allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, June 13, 2023, the time being 5:30 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary and anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Amy, would you please call the roll?
David Kane.
Here.
Rodney King.
Here.
Glenn Tebby.
Here.
Lindsay Job. Here. And Mayor Joshua Marsh.
You all should have received a copy of the minutes from May 9, 2023. Any edits, additions, or corrections? If not, take a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Lindsay, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, we have no old business. We'll move directly on to new business. John Bryant with the Veritas Group is here this evening for our monthly municipal complex update. John, it's been a couple months. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Progress has been made on site, so we're excited to hear what you have for us.
Yes. Perfect. All right, we'll go ahead and jump in here. So again, my name is John Bryan with the Veritas Group, here to give an update on the municipal campus. Yes, I can.
Please. Thank you.
Yep. So in similar updates in the past, I've given an update kind of on where we stand in regards to design. Now that we've moved into construction, things will change here a little bit in regards to the kind of the outline of what we're looking at here. So we'll touch on site schedule first, and then we'll jump into the specifics of each project with the fire station and the street department, briefly touch base on budget, and then at the end, each month I'll show a drone video based off waypoints. It'll be the exact same waypoints each month. It'll just show progress out on site, and it'll kind of put everything into perspective on what we're talking about here in our monthly updates. So we'll jump to the top here for site schedule. So I'm sure most of you guys have been out there already, but that North Tobacco Barn has been demoed. That work is complete. All the export is done on that as well. Topsoil has been stripped across the entire site. The fire station building pad is to grade and has been compacted as well as the street department pad. So they are on schedule in regards to that. The proof roll was also completed across the entire site, and the good news with the proof roll is that there's no stabilization that is needed as of yet. Now if we get 4 to 6 inches of rain, that may change, but the soil out there is very compact and very good out here in Greensburg, so that's fantastic. The retention pond excavation has begun, and then we're expecting to start sanitary at the end of this month. So that'll be the first utility that goes in due to the depth. So that's that for the site schedule. In relation to the fire station update in and of itself, they have begun digging for footers, or rather they will begin digging for footers the end of this week. A big milestone is the structural steel, so they are shooting to the structural steel by the middle of July. So they are on schedule for that. And then as we have discussed in months past with the furniture proposals, so we did receive 5 proposals from furniture vendors. We are reviewing those internally right now. We did use the city Sourcewell cooperative purchasing agreement that you guys have, and saw about a 60% discount across the board through all of those participants. So we'll pull together a meeting with you, Mayor Mark, and then Chief Sterner to review those proposals and to pick what you guys think is best, and we'll move forward on that here soon. So in relation to the street department update, so again, they are to grade as well and compacted. Runabom does plan to mobilize the end of this month, so Meyer and Agent is out there for the fire station, and we'll get Runabom out there the end of this month to start working on the street department building. And then they will start their foundation work at the very 1st of July. And again, the furniture proposals were received for that building as well. In relation to the budget, the project does remain on budget. That 19.9 GMP has not changed. And then again, we'll move on in here to the update on the drone. That'll give you guys a good understanding. So I took a drone video last month that kind of just shows the original baseline of the entire site, and then I took one here this afternoon at around 3 o'clock that'll show where we're at today. I'll speed this thing up here. So again, this was I think this was May 18th that I took this before the storage, the tobacco barn was removed. This will show just kind of what we're looking at here on a monthly basis, same exact video each month. You can see my cursor here, I'm gonna hold it here. The fire station is gonna sit right here roughly. This all remains undisturbed, this topsoil here, that does stay in place. And we'll see that at the end. This is Myron Ajam's job site trailer right here, and then Schuette's equipment as the earthwork contractor and the utility contractor for the project's equipment. I'm gonna pause this here as that gives a good understanding of where we're at from a site perspective, and then I'm gonna show you guys where we're at as of today. That shows some progress. And we'll watch this one through all the way. It's a little bit choppy. It was very windy when I was out there. You can see they've got the topsoil stockpile right here, as well as the excavation for the retention pond that they've begun, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. No more tobacco barn. You can see the outline of the street department pad that is ready for Runabom to take over, and then you can see at the far side of the site here where the fire station building will sit as well. This one here. So hopefully these are able to give you guys just a good understanding of where we stand as far as just monthly updates and progress as we go through these. Again, these videos won't change, so you'll have a good understanding of kind of the time lapse of what it looks like from the start of construction to the end of construction, and we can always go back to these. I use these for observation reports that I'll send to the city to just outline what's going out on site. Those can be shared with you guys as well if that is your desire. So outside of that, that is my update for this month. If there are any questions for the better of the group. Okay.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Liz Owens is here with Tri Kappa for the 4th of July parade. Good evening, Liz.
Good evening. So, pretty simple. We are hoping to do the 4th of July parade exactly the same as last year. So that would block off Franklin from Walnut down to North Street and then cut over to Broadway up to Gillen and Howe.
On the 4th this year?
4th of July, 10 a.m. So if we could have the roads closed at 9. I actually didn't hear back from Mike and I thought he would be here.
He's on vacation.
That would explain it.
But I think it'll probably be fine.
Okay.
Gentlemen, is that been fine?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
Any questions?
And
Might change a good thing.
that's right. Is that a motion to approve?
Approval.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Second by Rodney. Those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Perfect.
Thank
Liz.
you.
Sherry Slavin is here for Caleb's Cause for another 5K.
Actually, I'm not Sherry.
That's right. I said that
I'm
as I
Melissa
looked.
Brown, that's
Yeah.
okay. She planned on being here and had something else come up, so. We have the Caleb Brown Memorial 5K that is held the weekend of the Fall Festival this year. And it's Saturday morning, and we started back up the race that's had been there previous years. And I know you guys should have the route for that. The one thing I did ask, I know Brendan Bridges talked to the city police, we will not have any road closures. We will have different people volunteering, state and local police volunteering with the roads to make sure traffic doesn't hinder anything. And one of the roads that we've used is right around this new construction area, that little U drive. And if we need to reroute, we've got a route to use 5th Street instead of that.
So we'll need to reroute.
Yes, I figured. I just we wanted to verify, so.
So what do you want to do on 5th? How do you want to alter?
So Brendan has the route in on Fifth Street. I don't know, I mean, it's just I think it's like a 2-block radius. And again, there'll be people posted at each one, no road closures, just the race starts at 8. I think everyone was in by 9:15 last year. We do have someone that follows in a golf cart to make sure everybody's okay, and different people stationed around. And then we will use around the courthouse for the kids or adults that want to do the fun run afterwards. That's that second weekend of September, the Fall Festival.
So you're crossing some busy streets, so you're having people that are just going to stop the traffic while the runners go, and then the traffic can move if there's interruptions. Or...
Yes, yes. The flow starts out pretty heavy, but then ebbs a little bit later. So really probably more like 9 to 9:45 by that point, all the main roads, or excuse me, 8 to 8:45, all the main roads would be crossed at that point. Broadway would be the only one that they were coming up that they have to monitor. So someone will stay posted that whole route.
And is this the same route you used last year
Yes.
as well? Okay.
Yes.
I think it looks good, and if there's going to be someone walking the roads and someone following behind, I would set a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
appreciate it, thank you. Chris Ramey had emailed me yesterday, or late last week, about the fair parade and wanting to be on the agenda for that. I know he's down the hall in another meeting. It is the same route as always. It's down Ireland and down Park Road to the fairgrounds. So I thought the July 11th meeting was probably going to be a little close, considering the fair parade is on the 16th, I think. So I told him I would ask if we would go ahead and approve that this evening. It's our standard thing. Mark has been on the email. Chief McNeely was on the email. Sheriff Myrose was on the email. So everybody's been informed. But is there a motion to approve that for formality purposes?
So moved. Or second.
Motion's been made by Rodney, second by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, perfect. Assistant Chief Brandon Meyer is with us this evening in place of Chief McNeely on the approval of the standard operating procedures. He has the binder. You all have had some time to review it. If you have questions or comments before we approve that or don't, he's here to assist with that. Good evening.
Well, I made some comments last time, and I'm ready unless my colleagues have other thoughts.
Is there a motion to approve these as presented for GPD? Motion. Motion's been made by Glenn, second by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, well done.
That was rough.
Yeah. Chief Sturmer, we've got bids to open for the Dodge Charger, so I will allow Chris to partake in that.
While we're waiting for that, Board, I want to invite you at this month on the 20th at 7 p.m. at City Hall is our department recognition event. So usually there's a cupcake reception afterwards, as well as a short program recognizing our firefighters who have been promoted, moved on from probation to first-class firefighter, and then welcome our new ones and send our retirees off. So we have 2 retirees. We'll be addressing 2, maybe 3 new individuals, depending on the Indiana Employee Retirement Fund, and then 1 or 2 first-year firefighters to be recognized. Again, that's the 20th here at City Hall in the multi-purpose room, 7 p.m.
First bid was received at 3:45 p.m.
I don't think I have they might be in opposite order.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. The first one I'm opening was received at 3:45 p.m., which seems to be timely. It's from Myron Beckner. The bid is for $1,050. The next bid that I'm opening was received at 3 p.m. on June 6th. I forgot what that was. This bid is from Chad Clark in the amount of $2,200. Next bid was received on May 22nd at 1:21 p.m. This bid is from Ringwood Motors, and the bid amount is $1,780. Next bid was received on May 17th at 1:06 p.m. The bid is from Ramono, R-A-M-O-N-O, Emic, in the amount of $3,000. Bid to open was received on May 3rd at 4 p.m. This is also from Ringwood Motors in the amount of $1,080. So based on those, the highest bid received was from Romano Emic, the amount of $3,000.
Board, I would ask that we take these bids under advisement. I may have found a second use for it, a second life as part of city operations that would require a normal passenger car that isn't necessary to be new. And I would like the next month to talk with the mechanic, insurance, and that party, if possible. It kind of got, I didn't think about it when we started the bid process. So I would ask that we take these under advisement, and I'll report back next month if that's amenable, and make a recommendation then, if that's acceptable.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Motion's been made to table by Rodney, second by Jamie. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Nate.
Great.
Okay, building office assistant Amber Coyne has a grass violation appeal for the 300 East First Street. Good evening, Amber.
Hi, Mr. John Holman is here, 300 East First Street. He received a grass violation letter from the city. No action or charges were imposed by the city.
Mr. Holman, you've asked to be on the agenda.
Yes.
Completed the appeals form. Please step up and just state your name for the record, please.
John Holman. And I rectified this situation, and to begin with, when I got my letter, I mowed my grass the day before I got the letter, and I mowed my grass 3 weeks before I got the letter, and I do not understand why I got the letter, but I would like to get the violation reversed, and because if it happens next year, they can just come in and mow my grass and charge me $200 plus, and I have no recourse, because what happened was my lawnmower weed eater broke down in those 3 weeks, and it can happen next year. And it was in the spring when the grass was growing fast, and if you walk up on top of my yard, you can see where I mowed the grass before. And and I called her and I said, hey, well, we're working on the backyard, because I thought she was talking about the tall grass in the backyard. Well, when I came in and talked to her, she wasn't even talking about the grass in the backyard, she was talking about the front. And because she didn't even have pictures in the backyard, she had pictures in the front. I had no idea what she's talking about. So I'd like to have it reversed to begin with. And, you know, for the next 3 years, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Does one issue, 1 year, have an effect on the next year?
Yeah, oh, yeah, next 36 months.
Okay.
And per our ordinance, what you are able to analyze on an appeal is 3 issues. There's 3 actions that are available. One, you can determine that the house was not in not in a state of violation based upon the definitions and whether or not the evidence supports a violation. 2, you can provide an extension of time to rectify any situation that you determine to be in violation. And 3, you can determine that a fee or fine imposed as a result of the violation is reversed. So you could technically determine that based on what you've heard, the property wasn't in violation at the time, and therefore the violation doesn't stand. Given the fact that the city hasn't pursued, given the fact that the evidence I believe from Amber was that he has clearly rectified the situation and that the city hasn't pursued any cost or fees and there's no remediation pending or necessary, you could make the determination that he was not in violation at the time based on what he said. And I think you would just need a motion to make that determination.
So
I would make the motion that we look at this as a non-violation and move on.
I'll second that.
I would warn that that motion does not allow our building office to do their duty when they send out notification. It is a snapshot in time. And quite often we do find that people cure their violation before or immediately after they receive the letter.
Well,
There is a 5-day window to rectify before a work order is issued.
a 10 day,
Is it 10 or 5?
5 for grass.
Yeah,
5 days.
five for grass. So we do allow time for rectifying it if it is rectified within the time from when the snapshot in time is taken.
That's,
Then there is the opportunity for the homeowner to correct that. They have the time for us to process the letter, send the letter, then to receive the letter, and 5 days. 5 days from when the letter's sent. 5 days from when the letter's sent. So there is time for that. If we start reversing their ability to do that, then we will significantly reduce their ability to do their job. So be very careful with that.
Well, based on the new information, I withdraw that proposal.
But-
Say, you have a motion and a second, so from a parliamentary procedure, I think you have to vote on the motion that is pending. I think it is still open for comment pursuant to the mayor. I would note to the board that the building commissioner and I have started looking at how we might reassess the grass violation ordinance to address situations similar to this
Well,
situation.
That was exactly what my comment was going to be, is that it seems to me a penalty lasting 3 years from one violation seemed to be out of order or out of balance in some way. So,
and especially a taxpayer that's minding its own business.
well, John, just let us do our duty, and then
Okay.
we'll ask you, or if you could be addressed then again, okay? So it might be such a thing that if we do make a change in that, which I would recommend that be considered strongly, that's, I think, from 1 year to the next maybe, but not well, I guess we need to look into that, it's my recommendation. And if that be the case, and the ordinance is changed, his concern would become moot, and we wouldn't have to make a reversal. And so I guess I'm asking your indulgence, John, and your cooperation, and hopefully you would give us time to look into this and see if we can make changes. And depending on those changes, we'll let you know what happens, and then we can consider this again if the change isn't something that's reasonable.
Well, I remember when this ordinance came about, and I kind of thought that it was more for the landowners that did not take care of the property, that were nuisance property owners, that I didn't know that city employees were driving around taking pictures of your property and then going to go and send you a letter, and then everything else. And I thought it was more or less your neighbors were going to be the ones that are going to turn you in. I didn't know that city employees were going to go around on taxpayers' dime, driving around and taking pictures of everybody's yard, saying, "Oh, that's 7 inches. Oh, that's 7."
I'd say the majority of complaints that go out are resulting from a neighbor complaint. And I can't confirm that, Sarah's not here, but that may have started with a neighbor complaint. I don't know if neighbor, okay. So a lot of them do, and you're right, when we created that ordinance, it was for the habitual offenders, and then that way we don't have to send a letter and wait that process, because there's a time in there developing a letter, sending out the letter, waiting for the response. And if you're the neighbor of one of those properties, you don't have to deal with that every time either. So it was trying to find that, so maybe there's like Glenn mentioned, there's a balance that maybe we need to look at and figure out with this ordinance.
Yeah. But, and the problem I don't have a problem with me getting a letter saying that my grass is too tall and then I take care of it. And I wouldn't have had a problem. It's the 36 months that I have the problem with. And because next year I can have the same issue, and y'all can come in and mow my grass and charge me $1,500 to mow my grass. And I don't have money, so you put it on my taxes. So then the next year I have problems with my equipment. You come in and then you put it on my taxes, and then you're going to be taxing me out of my house.
Would I be able to make a suggestion if this does happen again in the future?
Well, yeah, I know that. Now I can call.
Do you have someone that, like a neighbor you could borrow a mower from? I know that there are businesses that will mow your yard for $30, or, young men that will, charge $15. So maybe just having a backup plan, that way we don't run into this again. I'm sure you probably already thought of that, but just a suggestion, so.
It wasn't like it was this tall. I mean, it was like.
We hear you, John, and if allow us some time to see if we can get this rectified, please.
Okay, so is it reversed, or?
We're about to vote on that because the motion has been made by Rodney, seconded by Lindsay, to remove it from there.
Okay.
That is the ordinance, or that is the motion.
And then you're going to work on the ordinance.
Yeah, and what we're saying, John, is that if we vote this motion down, we are committed, I think a consensus is here, that we are committed to look at the ordinance, and once that's changed, once the ordinance changed, however it's changed, it could make your situation, your concern, no longer a concern.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. And it's not just one last thing, and then I'll sit down. And it's just not for myself, it's for the whole, it's for the whole town. It's just not for myself, and that's my whole concern. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. To reiterate, the motion is to remove it and override. Been made and seconded. All those in favor of doing that, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed of doing that, signify by saying aye. Okay. Street Commissioner Klosterkamper, you have an update on heavy trash for the 2023 spring season.
Good evening, all. In your package, you should have found a spreadsheet, which is a synopsis of what occurred. I think you can look at it and see we were down quite a bit on volume. That majority of that was in the roll-off units, which is where we end up with all of the construction debris that seemed to be so abundant the last couple of years, and we've not picked any of that up. We only had probably 4 or 5 violations, so the people seemed to understand and they cooperated. We actually got things done between 7 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And did not incur overtime costs, which was a great benefit. And we still got everything picked up that would be considered household material. And I don't see a reason for anything else to change going forward. It worked well. We got the job done, and we took care of everything except for the commercial operations.
We were down 7,600 pounds. Is that right?
Pounds?
Or is that what it was?
Tons, isn't it?
Tons.
So 76.
We were down about 100 tons. If you look, the blue one is last year, the brown one is this year. We went from 278 ton to 277. But you'll notice the yardage did not increase the same portion because we pick up household material and it's usually not as dense. We're not picking up dirt and concrete, things in that regards. So the household weight takes a lot more space, but it doesn't cause them out of tonnage and weight.
I think it's important to point out that this is no small amount of money that's expended to do this, notwithstanding overtime that in the past, just taking care of putting this into, picking it up, putting it in the ground, I guess is that what the cost is.
And what you don't realize is instead of 4 people collecting trash that week, it's 14 people collecting trash. We ignore the mowing of grass,
Well,
every
yeah,
other
so
activity.
there is additional cost involved beyond this, but we're talking, over $21,000 this year in May just to put it into the landfill. So that's significant. I mean, it's a great service, obviously, for community, for our families, but it's not without
There is
expense. Yeah.
And the 2 biggest things were, like I said, was the construction debris, and the other thing, we did not have a massive recycling. We didn't go to the places where you found cardboard from Amazon all the way across the driveway, 30 feet of it all the way to the house. So people did take time to get rid of that material, and it didn't end up in landfill. So there was an additional benefit there.
The water and wastewater company helped your teams out that week with the mowing, so
yes,
thanks to them for helping.
Greatly appreciated
with that. Okay. Any questions for Mark on that? Thanks to the team for what is a long week. I'm glad that it fit inside the work day. That was
and they
a nice.
appreciated the donuts the following week.
Glad to do it. Okay, we have CCMG 2023-1 bid opening. Looks like we only have one. As a reminder, this is for Community Crossings Matching Grant Fund. We talk about the CCMG quite a bit. And this was for the application we submitted earlier this year.
Sealed bid, this was received, the due date was June 13th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. This was received June 13th, 2023 at 1:04 p.m. I'll let, obviously, Mark go through it in more detail, but based on my initial glance, it does appear to be a completed bid. It is by Pavement Solutions Incorporated. The total bid amount is $263,018. 263, 018, and no additional cents.
Entertain a motion that we approve that pending review of Mark and Ron, and if they find it fine and complete, that we go ahead and grant that so that we get on their list.
So moved.
Second.
Just a quick question, is that around where we thought it was gonna come, our estimates?
We had an engineer's estimate, and that's what we used for the funding 6 months ago when we applied for funding. And like everything, there's been accelerated costs. We were at $243,000 for all intents and purposes, so we were about $20,000 short. That's not extraordinary if you look at
6
transportation
months.
costs today, 6 months, no. The only problem is that last $20,000, we'll pay 100% of that instead of 50 because the state won't give me any more money, just go around, but that's okay. We'll make it work.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further questions? I would entertain a motion to approve that as, with that caveat that Mark and Ron review it and find it to be acceptable. That's already been done. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Zeke, you have a contract with Burke for us this evening?
I do. Got a few things for you. Good evening, Board, Mayor. A few things on my agenda here. We'll start with the Burke engineering contract renewal. As you know, I worked with Burke over the last year, just in an effort to complete these new MS4 requirements that came down from IDEM. I'm happy to report things that went well with that partnership. They've been a great help to me in the city, so I'm just looking to renew that going forward. This amount should get us through the remainder of 23 and probably about this time into 24.
And last month, we approved a contract with Strand, and this is with Burke. So, and I think I understand the difference, but just for clarification, you want to kind of distinguish which of these engineering firms does what?
Yes. Burke is doing the stormwater and the MS4, which is new requirements by the state, which came out of Region 5. So their expertise is more in the MS4 and stormwater category. Strand, we're working with Strand on a couple of different issues. We're working through some regulatory issues with Strand, more wastewater and environmental related, not at all related to stormwater or MS4. More kind of boots on the ground, POTW stuff as far as compliance based. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
We've been working with Burke through the whole stormwater thing. They've been our kind of stormwater contractors. They're very highly regarded, so.
No, I wasn't asking because of being critical. It was more a matter of information, so.
Sure.
And unless my colleagues have other questions, I would move approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Glenn, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, RAS station pump quote.
I know you love the acronyms, Mayor. RAS pump, that is return activated sludge. So about 3 weeks ago or so, we had one of our RAS pumps that malfunctioned at the plant. There's a RAS station that houses about 4 pumps that literally run pretty well 24/7. It moves every ounce of water in our plant from kind of one end to the other. One of those pumps broke down. We didn't have one on the shelf to replace it, so I started scrambling to find one. We couldn't find one on the shelf anywhere for rental. I did get lucky enough to find a company who would loan me one and not charge us until we got ours repaired. So with that being said, we're looking to purchase one to get one on the shelf, get this one replaced, and get the kind of the loaner pump back to that company. So.
Budgeted, this is part of your repair or replacement budget?
It's inside the maintenance repair budget.
Nothing's cheap, so.
About 21,500. Okay.
It's a direct replacement for the pump that we have.
Right.
Those pumps are about 20 years old, so they're just going to show their age. So.
Sure.
Motion to approve that as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Second by Glenn. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Davidson Street Lift Station.
Last one on the agenda, Davidson Street Lift Station repair. Probably about a month ago, we were doing an inspection over there, just off of kind of Central and Davidson. Opened the wet well and just things were kind of spraying everywhere, so had some plumbing that literally just kind of ruptured down there, so we got taking a peek at it, and it's in really bad condition. I'm told that lift station is between 50 and 70 years old, so just looking to get that repaired and get that kind of updated while we're in there. Part of this is also the pumps that are there now in that lift station. We got a few lift stations out of this way. Those pumps are bolted to the floor. Our ordinance now supports that we don't allow that. So the pumps now, if there's ever an issue with the lift station, we can take our crane truck and those can be pulled from the surface up. You don't have to get in the wet well to unbolt those. It's just kind of dangerous with the gases and just the wastewater itself. So part of this is also to modify that in effort to where we don't have to climb down in there with a harness and hazmat suit and try to somehow disrupt flow to unbolt that from the floor and pull that up. So this is an effort to bring it up to our current orders to where we can pull that from the ground level. So and I think there's still 2 more in the city that are that way. I'm looking to update those, not today, but they're on my radar going forward. So
Is it common for those to last that long?
those pumps are probably closer to 30 years. That lift station is probably closer to 60 years. So that's, I mean, we got our money's worth. So we got the money's worth out of the plumbing, that's for sure. So.
And this, you probably have money budgeted for
Budget
these
for
kind of
repairs
repairs
as well, yes.
Motion,
Are we done?
yep, motion to approve
Yeah, it's not in good
the
condition.
contract with Indiana Pump Works for $23,400.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Jamie. Is there a
Second.
Second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, one more item. We have been in our building here about 1.5 years. We've got all of our systems sort of on pace, and we've been working through our contractor that installed them for mechanical maintenance and management. You have in your packet an annual agreement to work with them, to work on air filters at certain times of the years, cleaning our condenser coils, maintaining our boilers, and all of the pieces that come along with that. We've been working with the company sort of on a call-by-call basis. They've been after us to get on some type of routine maintenance to help with that. So I think this is very fair. It's the people that installed the system. They've been great to work with. They've been very responsive to our calls at different times of the day. We will probably include a line item in the budget next year for some building maintenance items, just going forward to make sure that we're doing a better job with that. This money, $7,500 for the year, will run us 12 months, but it is also doable this year inside the existing budget. Any questions on that? I would highly recommend that we
I think it's
do
prudent
this.
that we.
Protect our investment.
I think so. Yes. Definitely.
Any questions? If not, take a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, just some updates really quickly.
Quick question.
Yes.
How are we coming along with the repair of the HVAC at the police station?
We had our owner's meeting with the architect, Chief McNeely and I and the leadership crew over there late last month. It might have been before our last meeting. And they are on track for their items to be delivered in the fall. So we don't expect them to have to move out till probably September. We did get a status update about a week and a week and a half ago that nothing has changed. So we're sort of just waiting on the equipment to be delivered.
Thank you.
Yep. The Yodel Community Calendar, I may have mentioned last month, this is an opportunity. There's been a lot of discussion for years about where is the one point of information for events that are happening in the community. So the Stellar team has worked on launching Yodel, which is a user-based content generation, so it allows for everybody to kind of put their own stuff in. It automatically updates, it automatically connects to some websites. So that is going to go live. We've had a couple different in-person opportunities here at City Hall for organizations. You do not have to have an account. If you're an end user, you can just go on and look at it. If you want to create an account, it will send you sort of tailored information and allow you to be updated if an event changes. So that will be fully live by this Saturday, which is also the Friends of Fred Food Truck Festival downtown. That will be Saturday afternoon, starts at 5. Amber and the Main Street team have just done a great job of putting that event together, and there's a band. Honda is bringing their racing simulator in their trailer, and some Indy cars and some different items to that as well. So it should be a great event, but we're also going to be rolling out Yodel, so there'll be plenty of opportunities to get signed up there if you're interested. It is free to all users who want to use it. I want to be sure that we invite everyone to the cookout. The next community cookout is this Thursday. It is between Wilder, or it's on Wilder, between North and Washington. So come out, it'll start at 6. Hamburgers, hot dogs, and all the fixins from the fire department and police and EMS will be there. Again, all free to the community, and it's the second one of the year, so we are clicking right through them. And then our inclusion park groundbreaking is going to be July 6th at 10 a.m. at the park. I know it's a work day, but we're trying to get it squeezed in, and they have already been making some progress out there, so it looks great. Obviously, Brendan Bridges has been doing a tremendous job leading that charge, but the community's really stepped up with donations and helping bring that to fruition. So if you could join us, please do. And then finally, before we approve the claims, I want to publicly, and I've already thanked them privately, to the water team who worked through the night, nonstop, 30-some hours, to get a massive water line repaired. And I know Superintendent Denny was there. I was texting with him at 4:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I many kudos to them and to the whole team. So without them, we wouldn't have been back online as quickly as we were, and I hope people appreciate that. So.
Question in that regards. I was there also, and I also like to thank them. They did a tremendous job. Question, when we have an emergency like that affects most of the city, have we thought about coming up with some type of way that we can notify the residents that we have an ongoing problem?
Yes, and that has been discovered as maybe a weak part in the system. We did notify dispatch at midnight when the advisory was put into place, but we also did notify emergency management who sends out the text message alerts. Our staff in the utility office isn't in on midnight, nor can they send that at midnight, so we relied on EMA. That message was delayed in being sent out. We've tried to address that with them about how do we make that system better going forward. There is a new system that EMA already owns, but it's not implemented yet, that would allow dispatch to send that out, as they are there 24/7, so we're working through correcting that in a way that would maybe be more efficient. Our internal system requires a relatively extensive operation from creating a call list, exporting call list, importing call list, uploading, going through that process. So as the utility team does that for individual alerts, it's not nearly as cumbersome as it would be for all utility customers. That's where the emergency management type system works a little better, and it also allows it to be more widely broadcast than just the numbers that we have in our system.
That's where we're going to that. Thank you.
Yep. Anything else on that? If not, take a motion to approve the claims as presented.
So moved.
Motion been made, second by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Anything else? Not, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.